Hello students, this is a short clip for strategic integration and we begin with LO1. We look at corporate governance. What is corporate governance? And corporate governance is the system of rules, practices and processes by which a firm is directed and controlled. So corporate governance is looking at how a firm is governed or a business is governed using rules, policies, and stuff. Here's the basic explanation that says corporate governance refers specifically to the set of rules, controls, policies, and resolutions put in a place to detect corporate behavior. So it is a guideline that it used to help corporate behaviors, to maintain rules and regulations. We can now go down and look at the takeaways of it. We have it here in bullet points. Corporate governance is the structure of rules, practice, and processes used to direct and manage a company. A company's board of directors is the primary force influencing company in governance. So those are the takeaways you can have there. We can now scroll down and look at bad governance, corporate governance, and these are some of the factors that contribute to bad corporate governance. 1, companies do not cooperate sufficiently with auditors or do not select auditors with the appropriate skill, resulting in the public of superiors or non-compliant financial documents. This is one point. If you don't cooperate with auditors, some don't even get good auditors that are well known to do the job for them. If you do that, then you are alluding to bad governance. You have poorly structured boards, make it too difficult for shareholders to host ineffective events. So if the structure is poor, you have people who have friends on the board, and even though they are not performing, you cannot host them out. Those aligned to bad corporate governance. We can now go and look at corporate governance and social performance, which is looking at corporate social performance. So corporate social performance is very important. The social performance will help the environment and will help the community. There is the need that when you sell in a community or when you operate in a community, it is important to give back to the community. So your social performance is very important, and you need to look into that. We now go down to, let us look at governance behavior, including director competence in the third governance dynamic at play in the boardroom. This has to do with who is on the board, the skills and experience sets of directors as collective and individually. So we are looking at the governance behavior. So this includes the director's competence. So if the competence of the directors are weak or they don't meet requirements, it brings this type of problems. Now, what are the symptoms of good and bad boardroom behavior? They are here, a lot of them. Look at the bullets, so many of them, and you can see that it's self-explanatory. Students, pay attention to these points and read them. Then causes of dysfunction. Causes of dysfunction. We are looking at 1. Boards are often comprised of senior leaders and entrepreneurs. When it's like this, you have leaders and entrepreneurs who have authorities in their own businesses. They are not used to being at par with others. They are used to being the bosses. They are used to making decisions. And so when they come to the board, they have to come down, be at equal, and that becomes a problem. So those are the challenges. Furthermore, we have more challenges down there, and I want students to read and then get used to it. So we look at the drivers of change. And these are the drivers of change. Regulation, disruption, social pressure, and business needs are driving much of the change seen in recent years. So these are the drivers of change. The disruptions, social pressure, people, saying all sorts of things, bringing in trends, and new trends as well can be a drivers of change. And whenever there is change, there is resistance. And so you need to plan in ahead that you need to know how to plan the change. Let's go to LO2. LO2 is looking at core competencies, and I'll just have to now tell you what competencies are, capabilities and resources, and then the rest is yours to read. Competencies are the resources, strategic advantages of a business, including a combination of pooled knowledge and technical capabilities that allow it to be competitive in the marketplace. So in other words, it's written here, core competencies are what the company does best. So your best is your competence, what you are able to do best, and it is difficult for your rivals or your competitors to emulate you. Your strength is your competence. So you are looking at what you do best, that is not easy for a competitor to emulate you. It spells you out. It talks about you and sells you. That is a core competence. So it says a more current definition of core competence would be key abilities or strength that a company has developed that gives it a competitive advantage over its peers and contribute to its long-term success. So things that you have come up with that, it's an advantage over your competitors because they cannot emulate you. They cannot do what you are doing. They may try, but not exactly. And that can sell you. It can also be your brand. Now we look at successful businesses tend to have more than one of the following competencies: quality, customer service, value, innovation, marketing. All these, they are core competencies that you can use. Okay, let's go down to resource-based view. Resource-based view is a managerial framework used to determine strategic resources with the potential to deliver competitive advantage of a firm. So you are looking at your resources. You can look at your inside and the outside resources. The inside is what you have, your resources that you have, your capabilities, your strength that you have, that you can use strategically to come up with something, a product or services that will help you to be at a competitive advantage. Or outside, you look at the outside resources. What resources do you have outside that can bring inside and then produce to help you to become the leader of the market? And then I would scroll down to go at competitive advantages. Competitive advantage is being ahead of your competitor, always being ahead, not at par, not below, but being ahead. And at any time that you are ahead, then you are at the advantage. So competitive advantages are conditions that allow a company or a country to produce a good or a service of equal value at a lower price in a more desirable fashion. And I want you to take note at this highlighted ones, bolded ones. It says competitive advantages are attributed to a variety of factors, including structure, branding, quality of products, offerings, distribution network, and so on. All these are competitive advantages when you are ahead of your competitor, when you are able to do more than your competitor, when people can use a particular instant or a particular brand or name or anything at all to make them choose you rather than your competitor. Then we look at core competence. Core competence is the internal knowledge, skills, and competence of employees inherent in the functional areas. So these are knowledge, skills. Your competences, your capabilities are your strength as well. Your abilities to be able to do something can be in knowledge. It can be in knowledge and skills. It can be your technical know-how, technology, how you use your skills, your technical skills. It can also be business process know-how and business skills. All these are capabilities, your ability to develop something, innovate something, create something using your skills to come up with something that makes a difference. Okay, so students, this is what we have. L1 and 2. I will start L1 and 3 shortly. Thank you.